In Nebraska, water is managed by two separate but equally important groups. The Nebraska Department of Natural Resources, who manages surface water, and the 23 Nebraska natural resource districts that manage groundwater. LB 962, passed in 2004, brings the two together to manage surface water and groundwater conjunctively. These are their stories.
Thanks for joining Alexa and I for another episode of Around the Water Cooler with NEDNR. Today we're here for another episode of our mini-series, the Nebraska 23, and today we're at the Upper Big Blue NRD with Crystal Houston.
Hello, everybody. This is Crystal Houston. I am the Public Relations Manager for the Upper Big Blue NRD. I've been with the district for about 5 years now, and I just want to say thanks to participate and share some cool things about our district. We're in south central-ish Nebraska, and we serve about 56,000 people in our district. We serve a 9-county region. All are part of 9 counties. Now, some of those 9 counties, it's just a very small piece of the county. We are the most heavily groundwater irrigated district in the state. So we have 1.2 million irrigated acres, and that's all, well, I think all are in large part just groundwater irrigation. So we do a lot to maintain our groundwater supplies in this area, do a lot of monitoring, reporting, measuring to make sure that groundwater supplies remain plentiful. We do work with producers to manage the groundwater supply. The district staff measure every spring, after the growing cycle and after there's some rebound in the spring, and measure to see what the change from one year to the next is. Producers have to report annually their groundwater usage, but we don't have any kind of allocation in place at this point. But we are, well situated in case there was a need for allocation in the future. We have all the mechanisms in place for, flow meters on irrigation wells and, reporting practices in place so that if there was a situation where we had sustained drought and our water level decreased by, a certain amount, that we would have allocation rules in place that would be easy to implement and hopefully would be not too onerous on the producer as far as making do with a little bit less through that time. Every year we do training for producers. We do winter training sessions for producers. We also do, publications for producers and send out materials that are trying to help producers make best management decisions based on their water usage and also their nitrogen usage so that we can protect both water quality and water quantity, which of course those are linked. I mean, if you over irrigate, you're also going to be losing nitrogen, right? So making those data-driven decisions about their water usage is a really important part of managing for nitrogen. We also offer an irrigation management discount for different kinds of tools that they could use for making sure that they are not over-irrigating, and offer resources like that for producers as well. As far as education for the general public, we do garden workshops in the spring. We had a regenerative agriculture conference last spring that was both for kind of general public, but also for producer education, where we had about 300 people come for that event. So we do try and provide educational opportunities so that we are, helping people do better without increasing regulation, but increasing instead resources so that they can make better decisions. So one thing that we're doing in the area of education and research is we're partnering with UNL on a vadose study, and that is to determine the amount of nitrogen in the vadose zone in our district in certain key areas, and to determine whether or not that the nitrogen is increasing or decreasing in different parts of the district. So we are, I think, in year 4 of that study, so that will be something of interest. That was something that our board was interested in us doing to determine what practices are making a difference when it comes to nitrogen management in our district and nitrate concerns with our groundwater. And so we will have some information to report on that, I want to say either in 26 or 27, so that we can kind of keep track on how things are going with nitrogen movement through the soil profile. One program that we have right now is the Nebraska Soil Carbon Project that is offered in partnership with the Nature Conservancy and Central Platte NRD, as well as corporate partners McDonald's, Target, and Cargill. And so that is providing $8.8 million for producers in those two districts to implement soil health practices. That project is in the final phase of enrollment, and so we will have some exciting numbers to report once that is concluded as far as the number of producers that were involved and the number of practices involved in their acres in both districts. We're excited to see how that has benefited producers in our district. Another project that I'd like to talk about is Project Grow, which was originally funded with Source Water Protection 319 funds. And Project Grow is a demonstration plot that the NRD manages. The ground is owned by the city of York, and it's in their wellhead area. The district operates 160 acres of that 400-acre wellhead area. And that Project Grow stands for Growing Rotational Crops on Wellfield. And so that area is utilized as a demonstration of different soil health practices where you can protect the groundwater and still be profitable in production agriculture. In that space, we also, though, have a community garden area and a berry orchard and a pollinator patch. So it's kind of a multifunction space that utilizes a lot of different soil health practices. We take field trips out there. Sometimes college students also use that space for like research purposes, doing soil health research. So that's been a really cool partnership. We have a new partnership with the Nebraska Forest Service. We're going to have a conservation forester position within our district that actually is a shared service position with the Nebraska Forest Service. So we're really excited to get started with that individual in our office. We think that's going to do really great things for our tree program. Another program that I think is important to mention is our reverse osmosis cost share funding opportunity. The state had the reverse osmosis rebate program, and we heard some complaints about that program from people in our district that it was prohibitive, that they had to get the well registered, they had to jump through a lot of hoops in order to get that funding. And so we decided to create our own program that is smaller in scope. I think the state program you could qualify for up to $4,000, and our program, I believe it's up to $500 for a point of use system rather than a whole house system. You don't have to register the well. Of course, it's just for people in our district, and it's for those on a private well source that have 10 parts per million or higher nitrate in their water, so they can get that funding that, $500 can help them maybe get started with an RO system. That is something that we've had good success with in the district so far. We've had a number of people that, participated in that program, and we're really pleased to have that additional funding opportunity. Something else I'd like to mention is our Burke Scholars program, where we do provide scholarship dollars for students that are in our district that are planning to study natural resources in college, that are planning for a career in a natural resources related field. They do have to utilize those scholarship dollars in the state of Nebraska because we do hope to not only retain them as students, but potentially retain them as prospective employees in the future. One area that our NRD is participating with other NRDs and also with the department is with our Blue Basin modeling project that's recently completed, where we are working to create a comprehensive groundwater flow model tool that maps areas of hydrologic connectivity between ground and surface water. That project was years in the making, and the model is now being utilized in order to make informed decisions on behalf of our board for the way that water is used within our district. So that's been a very valuable project and partnership with the department. So if anybody has any questions about what's going on at the Upper Big Blue, we invite people to visit our website, upperbigblue.org, or also visit our social media channels and see kind of a snapshot of what's happening in the district. We're really appreciative for the opportunity to share with your podcast about what's going on in our district.